Students of Miss Clark's Apes class, have you ever bitten into an apple and said, "Wow, this tastes good"? Have you ever walked through water clear as can be and said, "Man, that's clear"? Have you ever inhaled oxygen so beautiful? Well, if you have, guess what? You have received an ecosystem service. Let's talk about it. In order to get humans to protect ecosystems, they're always asking us, what's in it for me? What am I getting out of this ecosystem? Well, we're going to talk about it. They benefit humans so much. And humans are receiving this incredible, self-sustaining, well-operated ecosystem. And when we have these, we benefit so much. So, ecosystem services. These are services that are a benefit to humans by nature. For example, pollination. We need that if we want to eat bread or pasta or pizza. Naturally filtered drinking water. Very important if you want to live and not get cholera. Prevention of floods. Also super important if you don't want to get swept away. And of course, our recreational experiences. We all love hiking, walking, swimming, all through nature. Even this little dung beetle here. Look at this cute little dung beetle. He is decomposing this poo. And because of him decomposing this poo, we get nitrates back into our plants so they survive. Thank you, Mr. Dung Beetle, for your service. 4 different categories of these ecosystem services. We're going to talk about them. Best way to remember them, the PRCs of preserving ecosystems. Provisional or provisioning, this is the first thing they do. They provide material, energy for an ecosystem. We get food from it, fishing, grazing, hunting, fruit, spices, all of that, herbs. We get our raw materials, everything from lumber to fuel wood to fertilizer. We have medicinal resources all found in a lot of rainforests. And then finally we get water. We recharge our aquifers. Those aquifers are what we use to get our water. And even then, nature's also purifying that water. So we're getting our clean water because of the ecosystem services. Regulating ecosystem services. This is when they do things for us, not just providing something, but they're creating these services that offer regulation. For example, our trees are giving us shade and they're dropping the temperature. Forests are preventing flooding because when I have big trees, then more water can infiltrate down into the soil. Air is purified. Water is purified. We don't have floods because of wetlands. Our mangroves protect our coasts from eroding. We have pest control, bats, wasps. All of these different insects eat each other, and so therefore we don't always have mosquitoes flying around. Very nice. Thank you for the bats. And finally, pollination, a very important service. In addition, we have another group called the supporting ecosystem services. These are fundamental services where we would not be alive if these ecosystems did not provide these services. For example, primary production. We have to have plants taking in light, converting that into energy so we can eat that energy. Massive. And photosynthesis to give us oxygen. Beautiful. Nutrient cycling. We need carbon to move. We need phosphorus to move. We need nitrogen to move. And that all happens because of the ecosystem. We need soil to form. That process of taking solid rock and turning it into topsoil, again, is done by an ecosystem. Water cycle, same. And also genetic diversity. Genetic diversity is extremely important service that kind of supports us as well. Here's a great example. These mangrove forests, they're going to serve as nurseries for many fish. This is kind of like a service that they're providing. The wetlands are going to help the infiltration into our aquifers, a service they're providing. And then that's going to then supply water into our aquatic ecosystems. So these different ecosystems are providing us services. Cultural. This, I'm sure you know, whether it's aesthetically pleasing, spiritually, psychologically, there's so many benefits to the ecosystem. There's so many groups and cultures that believe so strongly in getting out into nature and what nature does for us. Whether it is hiking, camping, kayaking, mountain climbing, skiing, whatever you do. Or hey, let's use this background for movies and art forms. There's so much ecotourism. We're going to talk about that in the next slide. Inspiration for culture, art, design, or just spiritual importance of trees. So many different religions place such spiritual importance in a tree or in a mountain or in a part of nature. So it's another service it offers us. Cultural ecosystem services we have learned that we can very much benefit on. And places like Costa Rica, look at this, 13% of employment in Costa Rica is in ecotourism, and that's growing at 8% a year. Massive. So many countries have realized, look, we cannot sustain on our normal economic means, so let's turn to ecotourism, as this seems to be a very prolific way to earn money. More resources, but I can't wait to talk about this more. Enjoy your services, people.